All right, I'm sitting here with Mr. Clarence Wiggins. He's 97 years old, the greatest generation this country has ever seen and ever will see ever again. I'm basking in the glory of this man right here because there will never be another time in our nation's history there'll be a man like you or men like you ever again, in my opinion. And Mr. Clarence, his name is Mr. Clarence Wiggins, 97 years old. He's going to tell us a little story. So you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready. I want to hear about what you did when you was in the Navy.
About my ship.
Yeah.
Well, I said I had fallen out of the Navy. My brother and a friend of ours, they came in just on the last part of the war. They had put me aboard this cargo ship holding ammunition, all kind of explosives.
USS
And
Boulder.
this buddy of mine that put him on the ship, the first thing he did was Sydney, Australia. And out here in the South Pacific going around and round and round while he's having a big time in Sydney, Australia. And I don't know, it was my brother. I don't remember what. Yeah, he was aboard. No, he was aboard the battleship USS West Virginia.
Mm.
That's where it all wound up in the Philippine Islands, you know. That as far as the Navy was concerned. And we were in making up the Seventh Fleet, and we couldn't pull in like the rest of them did, you know, because we had so many explosives and everything on it and everything. So they went on, and while we were sitting in the harbor there, they hit us twice with the torpedoes.
The Japanese did, or?
Yeah. They knocked the whole of our ship 21 foot wide and then 31 foot long. Knocked one of our diesel tanks out, and it was about 1,000 miles to the world's largest floating dry docks. And we had to, like a lame duck, ammunition rolled out. And TNT cans, you know, powder, TNT powder, about that long. We was just hoping it didn't get in that screw back there.
Right.
Set that thing off. It blew the whole back of it off that ship.
Now that ship did it have a forward and aft gun? Didn't it have a couple of guns on it?
Oh yeah, it had a 5-inch 38 on the front and a 3-inch 50 on the back. Had some twins on it.
You remember what the name of that thing was on that you was on that ship?
USS Boulder Victory AK-227.
Say that one more time.
USS Boulder Victory, Colorado, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, USS Boulder Victory AK-227. It's supposed to have been E on it, but that was a giveaway because we was holding explosive.
Oh.
And the Japanese said that E, they knew that
y'all were target.
They had to get that ship because, and we was going to go into the Philippines.
Y'all were resupplying battleships or whoever?
My brother was aboard a battleship.
But y'all were resupplying munitions for other ships, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any particular ship?
Not just any of them.
Just whichever one.
And even in Merchant Marines, we had the worst thing about on our ship, if having a fire on that thing. And all that ammunition, one time we had a Merchant Marine ship pulled in. They was taking ammunition off our ship and putting on theirs. And so they said it got a fire on our ship. Boy, they didn't take our lines off. The ropes, what we call them, line. They just take the hatchet and chopped them,
right.
Took off, got away from us. Then after we went down, the electricians always took the electric parts off, you know, and went down there and there's that down with all the ammunition too. That last hole is about 30 holes, you know, decks.
Right.
And so they pulled out, got away back over there, and the captain had to man, flag man, you know, they sent out a message with these flags.
Right.
Told them, you're come on back now. That it's all over with. They said, shame on you. We ain't coming back to that rig.
So after you got hit with a torpedo and had that hole in that thing, you had to limp it to a dry dock or something?
Yeah, the
1,000 miles.
largest those
1,000.
dry docks was about 1,000 miles away. But we had to go there first, so we get it prepared, you know, so we could get it back to the state and get a full job on it.
And you still had munitions at that point. You still had munitions on the ship.
Oh yeah, And but the night, the morning, the night before we went in there, the next morning, the Japanese hit it and knocked a pontoon out from under it. Had to get another pontoon to go in there. Then I was wondering how they was going to do that, but what they did, they kept putting water in it and sunk that thing, the dock, you know, way down. Then you run your ship up on it, and they start pumping it off.
Pumping that water
it
out.
comes up so they can get to the. And it had a 21 foot hole in it, wide and 31 foot long. And
So that was part of your. Didn't you say that you had what you call come to Jesus meeting on there when you were trying to limp that thing to that dry dock, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell that part.
It was a pontoon that, you know, that knocked one of them out. And while we were there, a Japanese ship, all the lights were off. A Japanese plane come right over us and went way on down and come back. And we had planes over here on the side, you know. Well, they caught that dude. Made mincemeat out of him. He had a lot of nerve. But,
Now, did you think you were going to get off that ship?
Yeah.
We figured you was going to make it that 1,000 miles?
I felt all the time God was going to bring us home.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't you have a story about that? About a couple of guys were going to get off that ship, you said, and you was going to be one of them? Don't you have a story about that?
Let's see.
You said if two guys got off the ship, one of them was going to be you. Didn't you say you had that kind of thought?
Maybe I was talking about this ship that went to Sydney, Australia.
Oh.
They wouldn't send me to some place like that. We just going round out there in the South Pacific. And my brother, he went aboard a USS West Virginia. And that's where it wound up at in the Philippine Islands, you know. And my brother, he could tell them things different than anybody I ever seen. He said it kept us busy shooting them suicide planes off our ship.
Right.
And he said next morning, Japanese was floating all around out there.
Oh my goodness. Man.
Well, he could tell like he tell like he did.
Right. You can tell it. Anyway. So about what year was that when you were out there doing that? 40 what?
44. No, I got discharged at 44. I don't know.
Right in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere.
Right.
I got discharged. Oh, yeah.
Did you see some of the battles
I got
out there?
discharged March the 16th, and I ain't figured out yet why they sent me to Tennessee, Millerton, Tennessee, to be discharged.
Huh.
And told us after we got there, don't get too big a hurry. We're having problems over that wall, you know, that take down that wall.
Right.
You're the president. Take that wall down. They said the Russians are wanting that wall too.
Right.
Don't get in too big a hurry.
Well, I'm glad you told that story. I was wanting to hear it again, and
Okay. But
that way we still have the story.
that old ship of ours, it I told you about how big it was, the hole was in the ship. And
Yeah.
all the way down to 1,000 miles. We were letting stuff roll out of it. We was hoping I was. I don't know what the rest of them was doing, but I was hoping, praying that one of them screws back there, propeller pushes it, and wouldn't pick up one of those powder cans.
That would have been
Over
bad.
their end off of that boat.
Boy, you'd been sitting ducked in for sure, huh?
Yeah, man, we've been there.
Wow. Well,
But what got me? You get to go to Sydney, Australia. I'd like to want something. I
right.
couldn't go nowhere but them islands. I saw them, I'm sure there were islands out there and everything. Of course, they were all beautiful. And
But they all look the same, didn't they?
yeah, we would pull up to them. And
That's in the Philippines you're talking about?
yeah. And, but in well, no, the Marshall Islands.
All the Marshall
all
Islands.
the Marshall. And we talk and all of them. And we have several other places, But
So is this after the Battle of Midway?
big way.
No, or this is before the Battle at Midway. Do you know? Do you remember?
Before, I imagine.
It was before the Battle at Midway.
Oh, Midway.
That wasn't too far from the Marshall Islands, was it?
Midway.
3,000, 4,000, a couple thousand miles maybe.
I remember the Midways, but
The Midway Islands was there right before you get to Hawaii.
yeah.
I think that's why they called it Midway, maybe.
Past, sir. And we talked was the main island in the Marshall Islands, and
I think it's one of the places that they attacked right after Pearl Harbor,
yeah.
Marshall Islands. So you were out there resupplying those ships, maybe that's a...
No, whenever it was all over when we got there.
Oh.
But anyway, they had a big old pile of sawdust. That's where they kept their beer. And if you carried two beers, say we pulled up there to go on Liberty and go out that island. If we carried two I can't think. I would have been in the bed too long. 2 cases of beer.
Right.
Then they would give us 2 cases. And they had a building there. And they had, boy, that country western music going.
Right. Well,
Man.
I'm glad you told that story again. I've been wanting to hear it again.
Yeah, that was
And
that was
anyway,
something else. But,
I can say that I appreciate your service and
yeah.
all the things that, the greatest generation did. And like I said, I don't think we'll ever see that kind of greatness again. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't have a talented and great military men, but it was a whole generation of talented and...
It's altogether a different situation, ain't it?
Yeah. Was you scared?
Scared?
Yeah.
I'm too scared to be scared.
Too scared to be
No,
scared?
it really didn't bother me.
What do you think when that thing hit that ship? It shake you good?
Yeah, it knocked one of our tanks out. One of our diesel tanks,
Knock it out, knock you off your feet?
No,
Knocking out your butt barracks.
it let one of our diesel tanks go dry.
Mm.
We had to be awful careful that we could get there where we could pick up more diesel,
Right.
and everything, and out there wandering around like I don't know what.
And when
But ammunition rolled out of that thing. Mankind.
Man.
But
Well, thank you, Mr. Clarence, for telling that story again. Like I said, I'm grateful for your service.
yeah, thank you.
You're
Let's send
welcome.
another ship.
It's taking us all. Someone said, well, I didn't